Hey guys, as you know, I'm DM Scotty. Welcome to the DM's Craft Short Tip. Today I have an interesting episode about found objects. I'm always looking on the lookout for things I can use in my game, and I happened to come across these small little spiders that were great because spiders are notoriously hard to find for RPGs, and they're usually very expensive because everybody wants them. So if you peruse online for them, they're usually expensive. I found this little bag of spiders dirt cheap. It was a couple bucks, and I just converted them into figures for my game. So you can always be on the lookout for that kind of stuff to add to your game. Now what I did is I just had some little round bases. I attached them to the bases and then painted them up, and I'll show you what I did in the video. But if you don't have those small bases that I had, you could use pennies, you could use thick cardstock, cut it out, trace circles and cut them out and glue them to that, or go to your local hobby store and get some bases. But any way you do it, you can turn little toys like this or party favors into really neat figures very easily and cheaply. So let's go to the table and I'll show you how I did that. Oh, also I've already glued these to the base and got them ready, so we'll be starting the video there. So here's what I was talking about, and as you can see I've got quite a few. These are just like little party favors. But check it out. So I'll give you a little closer look there. So pretty neat looking little spider there. All I did was glue it to a base with some goop, which I've talked about before. Now these are some little bases I had, so I just put some goop on the spider, attached to the base, and I let these dry. But they're just on a plain base. Now I want to modify that, but the problem is it's pretty hard to do with these little teeny things on the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a technique how you can put the flocking on the base with something this small. So I'll grab my what I'm just going to use is white glue, and I'll grab one of my little guys here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to squirt some glue on the base. And what I'll use is I'll use a toothpick, and I'll just kind of spread it around under the spider. So this way I can get the glue on without getting it all over the spider. So I just spread that out. You know me, I can't stand having a plain base. You know, I've talked about that before, and some people like their plain bases. I don't. So this is, definitely a step you wouldn't have to do. You could just move on to the next painting step and not do this flocking step, but I like the flock, and I like to make the bases look cool. So hey, it's about monsters and you want them to look good. So all right, a little on my hand, but that's okay. So I'll just put a little more there. Just filling that in, trying to keep it off the spider. And if I get it on the spider, I can just wipe it off. No biggie. It's plastic. I just have that, the rear part there, the abdomen. So let's get that a little bit on there. Get quite enough there. Okay. So now I've got my glue on the base and not on the spider. So now I'll just grab my plate to catch all the extra sand. I'm going to use my all-purpose sand. Get my little cup, scoop it out, and I'll just cover it with sand. So that'll get in all the little cracks there. So I'll let that dry, and then we'll paint her up.
Here's the detail of my spider base. So the flocking is all dry. Piece just went off there. So the flocking is all dry. You can see that there's no flocking on the legs. So using the toothpick worked great. And the whole trick was not to put too much glue on. You didn't want to just gum it on. You wanted to put it on and put a little bubble on there and spread it out with a toothpick. So it covered the base, but didn't make too much of a glob on the base. So there you go. And our next step will be painting that base black, flat black, and then we'll paint in the details and we'll be done.
All right, guys, I have my spider here, and the dark brown is dried. It's very hard to see because it's pretty dark. But I'm going to put a lighter brown on that dark brown to kind of give it some highlight. So I'll pick up my lighter brown, and then I'll just carefully and if I get a little bit on the legs, that's okay. I can just repaint it a little bit. Something this small, it's kind of hard not to do that.
So here's a close-up of the spider with the lighter brown added to the base. I think it really adds a lot to the model. Like I said, this was just a plastic Halloween spider. And look how good that looks now on the base and painted black. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out the details on the spider, but I'm not going to show you that. There's plenty of videos how to paint miniatures online. This isn't really about that. This was about converting a miniature to play in D&D, and that was mainly what I wanted to show you. So I'll show you what it looks like next to a mini so you can see how cool it came out. So we'll move on to that now. So here is our hapless adventurer surrounded by little spiderling minions. I think they came out really well for being just little plastic toys, plastic party favors. So I'll give you kind of close up there. And you can see that I added, the spider was black, but I added some purple details to make it interesting. And I also added a gloss on its carapace to make it look shiny with just the water base finish. So there you go, some nice little cheap minions. Just keep your eyes out for this kind of little cheap plastic stuff. You can turn it into figures very easily, like I've shown. So there we go, and I'll see you next time on Short Tip.